I've been thinking about the Calgary Flames and Rasmus Andersson a little bit lately, and I've kind of changed my tune on this. It's kind of just a feeling that I get about it where I think that Rasmus Andersson might not only want to go to the Golden Knights. So there were a lot of rumors, especially with Darren Drager, that he was just like, no, like, you might as well just trade him to the Golden Knights. Like, that's where he's going to go. I'm not convinced about that, especially with the quotes that we heard from Rasmus Andersson. I mean, he just completely rejected that. He said he hadn't even given the Calgary Flames a team at all. And I don't know, I'm stuck between these because either he could just be protecting himself because he probably has to play in Calgary and he doesn't want to hear all the drama, which is completely fair, or he could just be, that could just be honest. He could just be saying, like, listen, we haven't even talked much about the trade at all. We're going to be talking about some really interesting trade speculation around Rasmus Andersson in this video, guys, but welcome back to Pixel Plus Hockey. If you could make sure to hit that subscribe button, it would be so greatly appreciated. Thank you to those that are already supporting me as well. It is very humbling, so thank you again. Now, one thing is, when you have a big asset during a rebuild, you generally want to get a lot for the asset. If you get a lot for the asset, it speeds up your rebuild. Like, can you imagine if they get a lot for Rasmus Andersson and the Calgary Flames end up with like a top 5 pick next year? And again, it's the lottery. It's kind of silly that the last place team doesn't get the pick, but the top 5 next year is really good, including a certain player that we know that could accelerate the rebuild. Like, look at the Maple Leafs when they picked first overall. Nylander, Marner, these guys. Marner's gone now, but they were able to accelerate their rebuild. I think that the Calgary Flames could do the right thing if they get a lot for Rasmus Andersson. And that would include one Mason McTavish, because new speculation is coming out here, and we have a very interesting quote. NHL writer Ryan Dixon of Sportsnet listed a few trade spots for McTavish, with the Calgary Flames being mentioned. Dixon suggests that the two rivals could potentially swap players, with McTavish going to Calgary and disgruntled defender Rasmus Andersson going to the Ducks. Now, the big hitch in this, though, is that you have to convince Andersson to re-sign somewhere. From what he's saying, he hasn't even given a team, so I really don't understand why he wouldn't want to play in California. California is a very nice place to play. It's obviously a bit higher taxes, but it's still a very, very nice place to play. I don't think that you would have to convince him that much, if you understand what I mean. Like, listen, I actually really, really like Rasmus Andersson. I am surprised with how much value around the league Rasmus Andersson has. I didn't think that he was going to get this much. Apparently, we know, I think it was the LA Kings. I think I said the Dallas Stars before, but I was corrected here that it was actually the Los Angeles Kings that offered a lot for him. I'm very interested to see what that even is, but if you're able to get Mason McTavish for him, I would be all over that absolutely. For a player that's going to leave anyway, we know that the Calgary Flames and Rasmus Andersson have already exchanged numbers, and they did not work it out, but here we have the article continuing. Andersson has some no trade protection, but Anaheim could be an appealing place to both play and stay given the lifestyle and upward trajectory of the franchise. Close quote. Yeah, sure, I guess. I'm not sure if, Anaheim is, they're a little bit up and down. I'm not necessarily a huge fan of their rebuild just yet, especially if they do get rid of McTavish. I mean, I still cannot believe this young center is not signed yet. I think that McTavish has 60-point plus potential, and especially being a center, that is a huge value in the National Hockey League. I mean, sign-in trades sometimes can be a little bit difficult, although sometimes they go really easy. Like, if a player really wants to go to a place, it can be a lot easier than you think. I mean, look at Mikko Rantanen. When he signed in Dallas, he obviously wanted to go to Dallas, and they were able to finish that within, it was like a day or something like that. They were probably negotiating before that. But if Rasmus Andersson wants to go somewhere, he's going to sign a contract. Now, interestingly enough, I'm very interested to see what Rasmus Andersson actually ends up getting. Right shot D, bit of size, has some offense, can play 22 minutes. He's probably gonna get paid. So this is probably why the Calgary Flames are walking away from him in general. And to shift gears a little bit away from Rasmus Andersson, I did just also want to touch lightly on Connor Zary here. I mean, I don't know. It seems like both sides are a little bit dug in here when it comes to Connor Zary. I'm a little bit starting to worry about this. I really don't like guys missing training camp. Now, I'm recording this obviously on August 20th, so preseason hasn't started yet. I really just don't like guys missing preseason because it absolutely will affect them. It always does. People think, oh, preseason doesn't matter. Players think preseason doesn't matter. It absolutely gets you prepared for the season. It 100% does. So it kind of annoys me when people think that it doesn't, if you understand what I mean. Not only that, but Connor Zary is going to get a lot of playing time with the Calgary Flames if he can stay healthy this year, which, again, has been an issue for a while. If he can stay healthy, he could really have a season. Like, honestly, maybe a one-year deal might make more sense between him and the Flames, right? Like that could make some more sense, and you could just say, hey, come to training camp, show up. Maybe just like a $2.5 million, something like something simple like that. Just say, hey, show up, blow our socks off, and you can get paid. But obviously, the Calgary Flames want Zary to prove that he can stay healthy. If he can't stay healthy, you can't really trust him, if you understand what I mean. Stuff like this always brings me back. Now, I don't think this is going to happen, but it always brings me back to when William Nylander went all the way to the distance and he almost missed the season. That's very, very rare. I understand that. But that type of stuff can happen when the player and the management group just dig in their heels. I don't know. I just don't like seeing this stuff drag on, and I thought the Connor Zary contract was going to be really simple. Like, I thought it was just going to be easy to figure out, like it was no big deal, but I guess not. Anyways, guys, I am going to leave this video here. If you could make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, I would greatly appreciate it, guys. And make sure to have a great day. Goodbye, guys.